Good morning, everyone. Happy to slay, and welcome to the Rise and Slay Morning Show. My name is Rochelle Slay, or Slay Queen Hemingway, CEO and founder of Slay to Success. And y'all, I am here to talk through a little bit about style, presence, and power. So as you come into the show today, please let us know where you're streaming in from. Give us your name and where you're joining in from so that way I can give you a proper shout out. Now, I guide high visibility leaders to build influence by aligning their image, their brand, and authority for intentional impact. So, if you are someone who's in this space right now, maybe you are a CEO, a president, vice president, director, manager, board member, any of these roles where you are front facing, okay? You have a lot of people that maybe you're responsible for, that you manage, that you lead every day. The microphone is always accessible to you. I'm talking to you. All right. This is the place to be. And as a professional keynote speaker, personal brand expert, if you will, certified image consultant, an author of several books, and I'll be talking about one of the books today, and a proud United States Air Force veteran, I understand how to manage your image to get you into the opportunities or to the goals that you are seeking. And so on the Rise and Slay show, this is where I talk through all that. And then we start with the word slay. Slay is our guiding principle, and it is the fire that activates what we do every single day. And that is slay, stay ready to be ready, lead out loud, a sense of community, and you are built to last. That is the acronym, okay, of slay. Now, slay means to kill it, to dominate it, and to nail it, to be on point, to impress greatly, and to dream big and work hard until you own it. So, in Slay Nation, because this is Slay Nation, we are different. We're unique. We understand what it takes to set ourselves apart from everyone else. And today, y'all, I'm going to be talking about the 3 image mistakes that are sabotaging your influence. And so, high visibility leaders are always looking to get more influence, all right, to walk in with the presence. And I talk through executive presence. Now, executive may seem a little stuffy to some people, all right, and maybe it does give a harsh kind of meaning to it, like you got to be buttoned up, you got to be suited up, and that kind of thing. And what I want us to keep in mind as we're talking through, and I got my notes here on my notebook page here, is that executive presence is the ability to project your confidence, your credibility, your authority, and composure in a way that inspires trust and compels others to follow your lead. So let's just keep that in mind. It's really about how you look, how you communicate, excuse me, and how to carry yourself. So if we're able to master, all right, our appearance, body language, communication, our digital footprint, we can definitely persuade others to do the same. All right, so let's just talk through it. I'm going to talk through these 3 image mistakes that are sabotaging our influence, your influence, and that we can fix immediately. All right, I'm going to give you a few tips. So if you're ready, grab your pen, grab your piece of paper if you have them, so that you can refer back to them later on when you're like at maybe an event or something. Just put it on your phone so you can read it. I do a lot of things during our son's basketball game where I take notes and I have these little ticklers as reminders to review what I learned, because we're always learning. So in this space, we're going to be talking about style, presence, and power. So I want us to really think about our wardrobe. Okay. Now, A lot of times people say this is all vanity, all right? You're just trying to show off, all right? Or you're doing too much. And the reality is, people judge you, all right? I was in the military for 30 years. And as a decision maker for the last like 10 or 15 years of my career, I would say half of my career, we used to have these boards, all right, where you, and they still have them, where you sit in front of people, and the first thing that they are looking at is how your uniform is put together. Do you show up in the military image? All right. So people do judge you before you even say a word, before you go into a space. All right. There are a lot of things that we need to be asking ourselves. Is this the right outfit for the environment for where we're going into? Because each environment requires a little bit of a shift, if you will, based on who's in there. All right. So we've got to be paying attention to that. Hey, Chevy, good morning, Queen, and happy Tuesday. Thank you. I appreciate you, Queen. You know, I, I'm getting a little bit better at, putting things together and doing it rather quickly because I have a system, as you know. And in the system, after you do it, practice it over and over and over again, it becomes second nature. So we're speaking to like the mistakes that we're making. All right. Now, one of the things that I hear that maybe is a little off-putting, but hey, you know what? I'm bold. I'm fearless, and so I'm just going to put it out there. Sometimes we're looking for people to tell us that we look nice. Okay. So Chevy said, "You look amazing." Okay. That is what I am going for. Words like that: amazing, powerful, unforgettable, memorable. I've had people say, I knew exactly how you were going to show up, and I just could not wait until you came to see what exactly you were wearing. But they already had a picture in their mind based on how consistent I have been with the outfits that I have been selecting. All right. You want those types of comments. I also have received, are you the speaker? Are you one of the speakers? And, I've gone to events and I'm like, no, I'm not one of the speakers. They're like, oh, okay. You look like you can be on the stage. Yes, that's what I'm looking for. I'm stage ready. I'm camera ready. Because in the space in which I operate in, and this goes for any place that you're in, you got to understand the space that you are operating in. If you are all continuously having to go to a microphone, be on stage, being called to an event, these things matter. Outfits matter. Wardrobe matters. And elevating our image is one of the advantages, and it's a strategy that you can take and add on. I believe that when I started to dress in a certain way, I got a lot more of the right attention. All right. Not just so random. I got the right attention. All right. And that's what we're looking for. We want to, like, okay, y'all just taking the words right out of my mouth. Let me just get to Leslie. Leslie, good morning, Queen, and happy Tuesday, Madame. Thank you so much for being here. I thank you, Queen. Yes, it's a dress actually. So I'm up here fully dressed, ready to go. So if I need to go anywhere today, I'm good. Yes, you show up ready always, because opportunities present yourself. Okay. When they do in that moment, okay, that you chose the right outfits. That's what I'm looking for when I go to opportunity, because I am a speaker, because I offer workshops and presentations. I do have one-on-one clients that and right now we're doing like 3 strategy sessions to talk through style, presence, and power. And how do you communicate that? This right here is a strategy. Okay. So we need to show up ready, regardless of where we're trying to go to. Okay. It's giving off amazing energy. Yes. So Okay, so let's just talk through this just a little bit more because y'all, I love y'all and I love when you show up live. And so I can, share a little bit more about the choices that I am making. I'm being very intentional when I buy my clothes. All right, very intentional. There are certain colors that go together based on my one power color, which is hot pink. But when you have a complementary color like orange, so orange is in this particular dress, it matches my hair, it matches my skin tone, it goes so greatly with the pearls. I chose pearls as one of my accent pieces of jewelry. Um, it brightens me up. It gives me energy. People can see me, all right, through the masses of people. And I know that when I show up, I feel most powerful. I feel like I can have many conversations. I work around the room. All right. I don't have any hesitations when it comes to that because I'm choosing the right outfits for me and what I want to give. It's a vibe. Okay. Everybody's got a vibe. You have to figure out what your vibe is and be consistent with that and be intentional. When we start buying all these random things, all right, that don't speak to what we're trying to project, it can definitely lose the sting of the influence that you're trying to create and build. So, we're not trying to look nice, okay? We are trying to look memorable. All right. So you can either be safe, which a lot of people take that route. I've seen too many times when I'm showing up to an event and people are just being safe. What does safe look like? Safe is black, brown, blues. And I'm talking about the dark hues, okay? Not the brighter. They're choosing the dark. All right. They don't want to be seen. They're trying to blend in, even though they are the leader and they can't be blending it. I mean, people see them. But my goal is for anyone who is in a high visibility space or an environment where they have to show up is why don't you just go all the way in? All right. Let's stop playing games when it comes to adding this as a tool. This is a tool that I have been able to use. Right. I have spent money into my wardrobe, saying I have invested. I will say that I have invested into my wardrobe. If I say I'm the Slay Queen, all right, there's a certain expectation that people have. And so my goal is to live up to that. When people affectionately called me that, I'm like, well, there's something to it. And every time I see a particular outfit or, something that I could wear that is in alignment with that, I am buying it. Now, it takes a minute for you to find your thing. Hey, Andrisha, how you doing? I see you're on the Facebook side. Thank you so much for being here with me live. You said, great morning, Mrs. Rochelle Hemingway. She is very formal. Well, great morning to you too, Queen. Thank you so much for being here. So safe, you know, is unforgettable. Oh, excuse me, is forgettable. All right. So let's aim to have the different types of words like amazing, powerful. Are you one of the speakers? Man, you are rocking that outfit. That color looks great on you. Those types of things. Because being nice does not command attention. People remember energy. Okay, so you talked about that already, Leslie. They remember energy. They remember confidence. They do not remember bland. All right. So let's start thinking a little bit outside that. Plus, this world right now is the most, what do you call it? It's like the attention of a gnat. If they see someone who is blending in, it's a never mind. Okay. So the same way that you see me here is the same way that I show up in person. All right. I don't go back and forth. I get up in the morning. I have a system, a morning routine that I do every day. And then at night, I have a night routine to prepare me to get to where I'm at. So when I'm called upon, so I could just say, yes, I am ready. I'm good to go. All right. Let me bring in my book. Okay. And this is one of the books that I bring when I do my workshops. And it's called Elevate Your Image. No one wants to touch this. No one wants to talk about this. All right. And so I do. And we go to the grooming, we go to the style, we go through, how you're communicating, what you got online, because it all matters. Andresha says, yes, ma'am, I'm doing good. Love the outfit as usual. Yes, the slay queen you are. When I was given the name, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take it and I'm going to run with it. All right. I'm having lots of fun. Good morning, Chris. How you doing? Good morning and blessings to you too. Thank you so much for being here with me live. I hope you are doing well. I saw that you were in the DMV last week. So hopefully you had a nice visit while you were here. So how do we fix this? All right. So this is just the first mistake that I see. All right. That's sabotaging our influence. How about we introduce one signature piece that reflects your personality? Just one. All right. I have a signature suit. I don't wear it often. I know when to wear it. And when I wear it, I know what the response that I'm going to get. All right. Every one of us should have a signature suit. When we put it on, we feel the most powerful. All right. We feel well put together. We walk into the room like, here we go. Okay. I want a certain reaction. So get the signature piece, suit, dress, whatever that is that looks for you. All right. Because everyone is different when it comes to the styling. He said, what are some challenges? This is when you do things live. You're like, what is that? Y'all, it was just the book stand. So I'll just leave it down for now. Okay, you said, what are some challenges that you have seen with your clients when it comes to elevating their brand? There's a lot of fear. All right. The fear of, I'm going to be doing too much, or this is different and I don't know how to react to different. There have been times where, even just a flash of color for some is daunting. It's like people are going to be looking at me. People are afraid of people looking at them. And for me, how I walk them through that, it's kind of like a step-by-step process, is you got to create a system for yourself. You're going to be having to ask yourself a lot of questions, but then you need to take the action that is required for you to continue to push yourself outside of your comfort zone. A lot of times people are so comfortable with the blacks and the browns because it is just a comfortable way of showing up, right? So fear of the unknown, fear that people will say, well, why is she wearing this color? All right. If it's the right color, the right look, the right fit, because fit is important too, y'all. Okay. Tailoring is something that we need to invest in. When I see someone walking in on their pants, all right, I know that there are some challenges. All right. We have to have the right fit. So thank you for that question, because I think it's important for people to know that. But once you get an understanding of who you are, And I think that's really at the core of who you are and how you want to show up and where do you want to go and where do you see yourself at. Then you start to make better decisions on the outfits or the wardrobe that you're trying to build. Andresa said, is it ever possible to shop and be on a budget and still look the part? Yes, Queen. Okay. So again, I'm sharing all my secrets here today. And, I'm more than happy to share. I have found items, pieces at so many different, lower end businesses, online shops, and so forth. So to be fully transparent, okay, say for example, these bracelets, all right, I wear these every day. They're like stacked. I love stacked bracelets for whatever reasons, but I like pearls, like I said. I found these pearl bracelets at CVS. All right. It's a drugstore. It was in a bin and they had a 99-cent rack. They had been priced probably like about, $20 or whatever. And when I saw them, I was in there for something else, but I saw the bin and I was like, let me look in here. And I was like, what? This dress that I have on right now, y'all, I purchased it from SHEIN, SHEIN, and it was less than $20. Okay. The suit that I am wearing for today's LinkedIn post and for the cover shot for this, I bought at JCPenney's. Okay. It was on the clearance rack. I have a budget, and every one of us should have a budget of how much to invest into our clothes. But when we see something that is in alignment with our system or the wardrobe that we're building, it's not hard to find. I believe when people buy name brands, and we'll just put them out there, okay, like Louis Vuitton, or some of the like Carl, what's his name? I forget. And he's in Macy's. Some clothes that have like a higher price tag, they don't fit well on everybody's body. But people buying because of the brand. I'm buying because of the look that I have created for my brand. So I specialize in personal brand styling. And that means that you can purchase items that are inexpensive and still give the look that you are trying to project. So let's not make this complicated. I don't spend thousands of dollars, okay, every day on clothes. But when I do find items, I know what I'm looking for. I know what my body, what features that I want to, accent, and those that I don't. So I understand about fabrics. I understand about undergarments. I understand about details. All right. And believe me when I tell you this, okay? Hair makes up about 80%. Okay. So if you are rocking a hairstyle right now that needs a little bit of elevation, think about what that would look like. Hair was the first decision that I had to make after I retired from the military, because I pulled my hair back every day, put gel on it, and put a bun on it, and I was out the door. So I wanted a particular look that could go with the outfits that I was going to buy. So it's great question, Queen. Great question. And good morning, Queen. Hey, Sharice, I see you over here on Facebook. And Andresa said, wow, that's amazing. Thanks for being transparent. I appreciate that. Yes. And let's see here. We've got several over here on LinkedIn. Love that. Understanding who we are always to get comfortable to show up boldly. Absolutely. And Leslie says, my mom has said with the right energy, we can wear a brown paper bag and make it look couture. Yes, ma'am. we understand what this thing is. When you have a deep understanding, it's like the insight. It removes all of the way that the world or the society says that you have to show up. Yes, I love going to Ross and TJ Maxx to find line items at amazing prices. Who doesn't? All right. So that's what I am projecting. I have a signature pair of shoes that I wear almost every day, but it matches everything I got in my wardrobe. If I want to bring it down just a little bit, I have another pair of shoes. All right. So when you understand your lifestyle and where you're going, what you're doing, how you want to show up, it all starts making sense. You won't ever go into, I don't have anything to wear, or people are going to be looking too much at me, or thinking too deeply and how to show up. All right, we got to show up. All right, high visibility leaders have to show up. They have to look the part. All right. Andrisha says, so glad I joined on today. Thanks for helping me know that I deserve to look good and feel good and can do it on a budget. Yes, queen. Yes, queen. All right. I knew that I loved fashion and I knew I loved styling when I was still active duty in the military. But when I retired, I really wanted to think about how to put things together that were inexpensive but gave that look. All right. So let's start building these wardrobes, but being so intentional about how we're spending our monies, because we've got other things that we need to be spending our monies on. Okay. So love this conversation, y'all. And I love that you love it. I'll say, so I just want you to pause for a second for today and look at your wardrobe. Go into your closet, look at what you got going on there, and ask yourself, are you playing it safe or are you leaving a lasting impression? All right. So that's the first action that you can take immediately to fix it, because we are not trying to sabotage our influence. All right. We're not trying to diminish ourselves and the things that we've already learned. All right. I am 53 years old. So I have a lot of wisdom. I have a lot of expertise, but I'm staying relevant as well, which is one of the things that happens as we mature. Sometimes we don't stay relevant. All right. We say that's for the young people. Well, that's because we haven't found our style. All right. So this is not a trending thing. So that's the first one. Okay. All right. So the next one is ignoring presence. Number 2, ignoring presence. So leaders ignore their presence. And I'm going to tell you this, presence is everything. It's everything. Now, I did talk about the wardrobes, everything, but presence, I think, is really where we need to start. It's our posture, it's our gesturing, it's the way we move across the room, it's even our digital presence. So I just had a conversation on the Slated Success Talk Show Sunday night with my guest, Doreen. And we were talking about presence and the way people lose sight of that. There are some unwritten rules, unspoken rules in some spaces that you may find yourself in. If you don't get them right, you can lose influence quickly, instantaneously. And presence is one of the things, if you can master, there will be a lot more conversations and opportunities for you. So let me just kind of give you an example. I have seen people in these high stakes rooms leaning on walls. I don't lean on walls. All right. I stand on my own 2 feet and I feel every bit of my body because I want to be in the moment. I have seen people shifting their eyes. They don't look directly at you, they're looking past you. I don't know what that is about. It's almost as if they can't lock eyes, that they're scared or they're not quite sure. They haven't trained themselves to do that. People are fidgeting. There was a fidgeting tool that people sometimes carry so that way, if they get anxious or they get nervous, then they can rub it together in their hands or someone. I find that distracting as well. Because then all I'm doing is looking at you fidgeting this thing that you got going on. Fidget spinner. That's what it's called. I'm not quite sure if that's something that you want to project. These things we have to learn, and this is what me and Doreen were talking about. We have to learn how to control our behaviors. We have to learn how to fully stand upright. We have to learn how to articulate our words and be able to carry on a conversation. I've been in conversation where they've been painful. It's as if they have not practiced talking to another human being in public. It's almost being socially inept. All right. When you're in a high visibility role, you have to learn how not to be socially inept, which is not having emotional intelligence, not really figuring out who's there and reading the room. I've seen people just being in the room and they're not there. It's like they're a zombie. Like, what is happening? What is going on right now? They're losing the ability to hold their space, to take up space. All right. So, Andrea, you also have a comment in here. Oh, no. I think Andrisha. It's Andrisha. I thought you had another comment in here, Queen. Hey, Corey, how you doing? My cousin Corey is here on Facebook as well. Thank you so much for being here and listening in. All right, so we have to understand that presence is something that we need to think about, okay? Walking into the room upright, chin up slightly, having a string on top of our head, looking around, not looking down, not hunching over. I've seen people hunching over and they are trying to avoid people, all right, because they don't want to talk to no one. And I'm thinking, you are in a social environment. Why are you here? Because they haven't learned how to hold themselves. So presence is something that you want to be thinking about, right? You want people to remember who you are, what you stand for, what you believe in, and that all takes you showing up and not being scared, hearing your voice, hearing the way that formulate ideas and opinions. So that's one of the other things that we are making a mistake on, which is, again, our presence overall. So let's just think about how we can refine. Practice takes perfect, right? So practice in the mirror, have conversations with yourself. I hype myself up every single time that I enter into a room. And I tell myself, do not shrink. Do not shrink. All right. Walk in there with your own personal power. Own the room. It's okay. You don't have to hold back, because a lot of times it's just a lot natural tendencies to just say, I'm just not going to do that today. Okay. And the last one that I want us to think about, and I got my notes that are giving me a little bit of a struggle here today. And I'm just like, come on now. Like we can't be struggling with our notes in here. So let me just get back to it, y'all. So the last thing that I want us to talk about is our demeanor. Okay? Our demeanor. Do you know what your demeanor is? Okay, so I had to learn how to soften myself. It took quite a bit for me to soften myself. What I mean is, I was operating in a male dominated environment. My demeanor in the military was hard, it was abrasive, it was aggressive, it was defensive, because I always thought or felt like I needed to fight. I was in that posture. And so as I transitioned and started to learn, I needed to soften myself to be more approachable, to be more lighthearted, to be more carefree. I don't want to look like what I have been through. That was my thought. How do I get there? Every little action I was taking, I started to ask questions. Is this the right look that I want to present? Do I want to go into a conversation with a scold face? Do I want to put my hands on my hips or my arms crossed to give the defensive look? Do I want to be questioning everyone that comes my way and trying to figure out their motive? It's exhausting. It's exhausting. I had to think about how to do things differently. And instead of choosing the same path that I had created myself for, the success that I achieved while I was in the military, I had to think about what that would look like now as I've transitioned. I've been retired for almost 5 years now. All right. So the demeanor that I had in the military is not the same demeanor that I have now. And when I talk about transformation, the first person that I look to for this transformation is myself. Because if I struggled with all these different things, I know others are struggling with it too. I wanted to create impact and influence in a different way in this next chapter. And I've been able to do that. So if I could do it after serving for a very long time in a very highly conforming environment, anyone is able to do this. And it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be so difficult or exhausting. Let's have fun. All right. Let's bring different type of energy. Let's be bold. Let's just be, people's inspiration, the light. All right. Which we are in Slay Nation. So those are the 3 image mistakes that are sabotaging our influence. So let's just run from the top again, right? The first one was our wardrobe. Okay. So we're looking at building our wardrobe to where we're looking at how we want to project ourselves, because that's what people first see. They see you coming, they are already looking you from head to toe on what's going on. All right. And it does not have to be expensive. We can be looking expensive, but we know our secret is to ourselves as that we didn't spend a lot of money on this. We just making it look good. And then we talk about our presence, which is executive presence, but not in the way that we think when it comes to buttoned up and suited up, but I want us to think about our ability to project the confidence, the credibility, the authority, the composure in a way that inspires trust and compels others to follow your lead. And it could look relevant. All right. We're staying relevant to today's world. And then lastly, we talked about our demeanor. What is the demeanor that you are, uh, you know, uh, working with right now? And is that the demeanor that you want people to attach to you? If not, got to make some adjustments. All right. So, fixing our wardrobe, building intentionally our presence. Let's not be leaning on walls, tables, chairs, or anything like that. All right. And then for our demeanor, think about how you're projecting your energy and what you're carrying. So, thank you all for being here. So, we had Chevy said, great session. Thank you, Queen. So thank you all for being here live with me today. So we'll be talking a lot more through this as the episodes come along through the next few weeks here. So we have Chevy, Leslie, Chris on YouTube and on LinkedIn and then on Facebook. Y'all showed up on Facebook today. Andrisha, Sharice, Corey, you said thanks for the FYI. Yes, you're welcome. And Lakeisha, how you doing, Queen? I know you know all about this, Lakeisha. I'm trying to get my my phonetics down here with these words. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here with me live this morning. If you know someone who needs to hear this, share, okay? Share. You can go to my YouTube channel, Slay to Success, and there's a bunch of videos over there that you can binge watch. I will be back here on Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Slay to Success talk show, where I bring in a guest and we talk through leadership, mindset, wellness, personal branding, business. So if you're interested in any of those topics, you can come back and hear from someone else and then get a different way of living, because that's what I am offering is a different way to live. Okay, y'all. So keep on slaying until you can't slay no more. And I will see you all very soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah.